Hello and welcome to the stream. So today I'll be resuming work on the Oscar system, the open source software quality assurance system, or as I like to call it, on-device software quality assurance system. So the abbreviation has a lot of potential for the number of directions it can go. But today I'll be resuming that work, and I'll mainly be working on, I think I'll probably need to check where I left it last time before I decide where I'll be resuming from today. So if you're joining, if you're just joining, there's a poll on Java 8. Feel free to let me know which Java version you're running, specifically if you're still on Java 8. So you can reply to the poll and let me know. So where did I leave things last time? Let's find out. So I remember I was working on the summary cards. So the way the software system works is you register the features that are in your software platform, or your mobile application, your web application, or some server-side component. So you register all those features on Oscar on this system, and alongside the features, you register verification steps. So if you build a feature, there's a way you expect that feature to work. Basically, this would be what the QA engineer or whoever is doing quality assurance for your platform would be using to verify that the features work as expected. So the idea behind this is you as a developer needs to define what is the correct behavior of your system. And you do that by registering the individual features in the system. And for each individual feature, first you specify how you expect that feature to work. And so like if I was to register a feature here, of course I would need to specify which product I'm targeting, the name of the feature, then I'd describe the feature, and then I'd have usage instructions. So this is like what you'd have in your user guide manual. So here you just describe what the platform, how a user can use the particular feature in the platform. And then you add verification steps. So these are meant to check that the individual feature works. And the main idea behind this is also for this to serve as a prompt to your QA person. So when they're testing the feature, you include a question like, does the toggle button turn green when user presses start, perhaps start button? And whoever is doing quality assurance for you will see this prompt. Once they see it, they'll test it on your app or your software product. And if it does this, then they'll mark it as it's working. Or if it doesn't, then they'll mark that as pending verification, so, or failed verification. So once that's done, all that data forms this summary card that I was building up last stream. I think probably the past 4 or 5 streams I've been working on this. So here, of course, we have the total number of features registered, the system stability. This just takes the number of verified features of a number of pending verification or failed verification, features, and then it does a percentage of that, and that counts as the stability of the system. Active checks is the number of verifications you have registered. Past checks is the number of verifications that have actually gone through quality assurance and passed quality assurance. Pending checks, these are the number of verifications that are still pending QA, or they've gone through QA and they've failed verification. Yeah, so just wanted something nice to have at the top of this product dashboard, but also it serves a purpose. On the most recent stream, I was working on this, enhancing this pagination idea, and the problem we have, I also noticed that based on where I placed this, it might affect. So at that position, you are not able to actually see the thing that I was working on last time. So I made that mistake last time because I was working on this component, and that component was hidden behind my head, unfortunately. And throughout the stream, I didn't notice that it was hidden there. So just noticed that. After the stream is when I realized it's like hidden away. But then I was working on this pagination thing, and the idea is you can have lots of features registered for a specific product, and instead of having to scroll through or having to list all the features in one screen, which would be inefficient also, I decided to add pagination support. So you can see a bunch of the items, and then if you move to the next page, you'll be able to see the other features that are registered. And you can also go back to other features. Once you hit the end, of course, the button is disabled. And the same thing, once you hit the end here, the button no longer works. Yeah, so that's that tiny feature is what I did work on last time. So I forgot to do something. So what I'm going to do is I just noticed I forgot to enable something for this stream. But okay, we'll just proceed. At some point, I'll have to kill video and then enable it later after the thing I forgot to do is sorted. So let me see what might count as the thing we check out today. Also, check out Life Planner. Those who know me know that I've been working on this for a while together with a bunch of other guys and ladies. So check it out. Send some feedback. You can find it on the lifeplanner.co. So the features Oscar is open source. It's an open source project. So that means you can go and fork it and play around with it if you want. Yeah, for the fun of it, or if you want a playground to learn Java or JavaFX, this would be a good project for that. Because it's also an active project, I'll be able to share some feedback with you as I build. So if you want to experiment with JavaFX, just go over to the project repository, or pick one of the issues or open an issue and do a pull request. I'll be more than glad to review it and maybe share some feedback. So I have a bunch of things that I want to enhance or add as features to the product, and through the streams, I've just been picking one after the other and like working on it. The goal is by the time I end this series of streams, I'll have at least gotten the things that I want to get into the platform. Particularly, I'm really interested in getting Xcode linting support, specifically for Swift projects. So there's this tool called SwiftLint that allows you to do linting on your Xcode projects. And at the end of running Swift-Lint, you get reports, usually in form of JSON, but you can specify other formats. And that can tell you the health and status of your code. If you have dead code, if you have unused variables, if you have duplicated code, if you are using the wrong styling for your code, stuff like that. So Swift-Lint can detect that for you, and it gives you a really long report. Unfortunately, if your project is too big, that report might be overwhelming to like go through the whole of it and fix all the issues. I thought perhaps if within Oscar I had support for having a nice graphical user interface to see the linting report, and also to add it to your development workflow, particularly to add it to your quality assurance phase, so that you can maybe before you roll out a new version of your app or your platform, you can check that the linting results also state that the health of the code base is worth rolling out to users. So sometimes the product might work really well, but the code itself has hidden problems, and those might manifest at runtime with crashes and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's the reason why I added this, and I'm really interested in working on it and bringing it into Oscar and using it for my own projects. Essentially, I'm building Oscar for myself, but if somebody else finds it useful, that will be a plus. So on top of that, the other linting thing that I'm hoping to do for Oscar is Android linting support for Android Studio projects. So if you've ever run the linting tool in Android Studio, you'll notice that you might have like 10,000 items in the report, and you're not able to go through all the items. So if also there was a way to get the primary output from that linting execution on Android Studio, if we could pull that into Oscar, have a nice graphical user interface that fix those issues that were identified by the linting tool, and then generate something closely similar to GitHub issues for that report. And then you can be going through one issue at a time, solving and fixing whatever the linting tool detected. That would be, in my opinion, that would be awesome. And it would make linting make sense. Because right now, if you do linting, you just get a huge report and you end up not doing anything about it. Yeah, so other than that, there's a few things here that I would like to that I would also like to add to Oscar, but linting is perhaps the main thing. Apart from features and the verification steps for features, I think linting is probably the other important thing. So for this particular stream, I'm thinking what to work on. So perhaps I can squash some of these tiny bugs, and then after that, then I can take on Xcode linting. So there's a few small bugs here that I can work on. There's also some few small issues like adding import support, so that you can import an Excel or CSV format of data associated with Oscar, and you can import them into another version of Oscar and be able to get the same reports. So this would be nice, but I'm more interested in perhaps being able to generate release notes from your features list. I think that would be more important than having this import export support, if I'm doing specification sharing, perhaps release notes would be more useful, because writing release notes is usually a pain, because you have to remember everything you worked on and also package it in a way that makes it easy to digest for your users, or if you're using it for marketing, for whoever is taking care of your marketing. So that's one area that I'd probably want to take care of. I don't know if I have an issue associated with that, or I probably need to create one. Also, if you have ideas for features that can go into this, feel free to share. And also, if you have like a software quality assurance process that you usually do for your systems, let me know how you do it, and I can see perhaps if Oscar might be relevant, or there's a feature that I might need to add to Oscar to make it achieve a particular step of your quality assurance thing. Also, if you don't do quality assurance at all, it's fine. It happens. But it's good to have some sort of quality assurance for your products. Let me create an issue for release notes. I think that's really important. I'm surprised I didn't have an issue for that. Support generating release notes based on registered features. And support for one-click release notes generation. Based on verified features. So these are features that have gone through all the verification steps and passed 100%. Perhaps you can allow the user to set a threshold, like 90%, but by default it should be 100%, so that you only publish features that you tested. Okay, might be vague, but it's a concept that can be enhanced once I start working on it. Okay. Yeah, so what to work on today? I could do this dark mode to light mode and light mode to dark mode toggle. Currently, the system is by default dark themed. But I think the biggest ISO here is the menu. The menu doesn't have any icons. It would be nice to have icons there, but it's not too important. It's just perhaps for presentation purposes. But let me see if there is something else. Remove secondary pop-up when user created verification step for a feature. Yeah, there's this secondary pop-up that shows up when you create a verification step. Perhaps it would be good to get rid of that. Yeah, it's actually really poorly designed. But once you create a verification step for a feature, like if I go to this custom task duration and made a new verification, so edit, add verification. So I'd get this pop-up for adding the verification. This is another verification step. So once that's created, there's this pop-up that we get. I'd like to get rid of this because you can already see that the verification step has been created, unless it looks really ugly. Okay, let me start with that, and then I'll see whether there's too much time left. Maybe I can work on a different issue. So the first step is finding where that pop-up is shown on the code base. So I think that's the features detailed view. So this is where you see the details for the whole feature, but I think separated them into, there's a form and then there's a feature detailed view. There's this feature detailed view. And this has, of course, the list of features. But I think this happens in the features form. Yeah, does that scroll pane? I think this is the one. Cancel button, save button. So yeah, so you have the add verification. So that's this add verification. Let's find its event listener. So set action, and yeah, so I think this is the success alert. So we'll just be getting rid of this. When the requirement is deleting code, makes things very interesting because I like deleting code more than adding new code. So we're already adding to the verification list, and this will cause a pop-up to, it will update the list of existing verifications on the same screen. So you don't need to have a pop-up for that. What I might need to have is a pop-up for when this process goes sideways and the new verification is not saved. Maybe at that point I might need to add a pop-up, but for success event I probably don't need to. Let me just rerun it. Okay. So I see that, let me go to, okay, edit, add a verification. This is another verification. Yeah, so that gets rid of the pop-up. I don't need to do any extra work for that. I think that solves it. Just to be sure that that's the only thing we change. So we've removed the alert, and yeah, and that's the only thing we've had to change. Why write the commit message when the issue already exists? So I can just paste the issue, details there, and remove secondary pop-up when user. So perhaps make it less wordy. Remove pop-up when verification step after creating after saving verification step. So I'm reducing it so that I could fit in the issue ID here and perhaps not have to have an extra line. So that's issue number 37. Remove pop-up after saving a verification step. I think that covers it. Push that to GitHub. Okay, we have it there. Nice tiny change. Okay, I'll be using this commit format from now on. So just having the title of the issue and then within brackets have the issue ID. I think that would be nice instead of having it in the description of the commit message. I think it could be better to do it like that. So I'm waiting for CI to finish, but I expect it will pass. So this just executes existing tests and attempts to generate a binary, which doesn't really work as well as I was hoping. So we're still not able to get specific binaries for target platforms like Windows, macOS, Linux. There's a script that was added to do that, but I don't think it does what I'm hoping it could do. And that's on me. I need to learn how to work with JPackage. And also, when you're generating binaries for particular platforms, you need to, at least in my experience, you need to build the code on that particular operating system. So if you wanted to get a DMG for macOS, you'd probably need to build this on a macOS system. If you wanted to get an EXE, you'd probably need to build it on Windows. And if you wanted to get the equivalent on Linux, I can't remember, then you probably need to build it on Linux. I'm wondering if there's a way to do that, because you have to link some additional libraries for this to function on that system. But it's something I'm willing to explore later. For now, I'm just focused on building the product itself before I worry about distribution. Okay, so it looks like CI verification went well. Let's pick another issue. Maybe I can make another poll. We seem to agree on everything on that. Let me ask, which Java version are you currently using? So I'll leave the poll on. If for some reason there's anybody using Java 8 still, you can fill in there. So I'll just pick the next issue. Add side menu icons ability to see active menus, and ability to see active menus. Side menu icons and ability to see active menu items. So I think that is for adding some menus here to kind of make it look more presentable. Yeah, I don't mind working on that. Let's see. So that would be, so there's the app toolbar. So the app toolbar is referring to this, which kind of shouldn't have programmed it like this. I should use the system toolbar. So if we're talking toolbar, that should appear where this Oscar label is. But I didn't do my research enough on JavaFX to kind of learn how to place items at that part of the on that part of the window. Because the way it's supposed to work is, I think we can, yeah. So like with IntelliJ, you see there's this menu here which has code, refactor, build, run. So this is an actual toolbar, and it usually has these drop-down menus. So if you hover over one menu, it like leads to a drop-down, and you can even do some more interesting things with it, like having it nested like that. And this nesting can go into multiple layers of nesting. So this is an actual toolbar. Whatever I defined here is not an actual toolbar. This is more of a skill issue creeping in. But it's something that I can improve. I used to do this with Swing, but I've never done it with JavaFX. I think that's why I ended up not doing it. I don't know how good JavaFX support is for working with this toolbar. And also it was not in the documentation, I think. So there's a JavaFX documentation project. I have it here. So this documentation project is an open source, crowdsourced documentation for JavaFX. It's not official. In fact, I don't think Oracle has made any effort towards working on a proper documentation for JavaFX as a framework. So this is just some guys contributing their time towards getting this documentation. I've read quite a bit of it, but I haven't seen anything related to toolbars. It's mostly focused on the scene graph, which is like the foundation of JavaFX, where you have the native window. So the native windows refers to what Windows as an operating system considers as a window, what Mac OS considers a window, what Linux system considers a window. So this is the native window, like native to the operating system, whether it's Mac OS, Linux, or Windows. Then on top of that, a native window, you have the scene. The scene is what is currently displayed. So you can think of this as a scene. Then you have nodes. After that, you can have multiple layers and branchings for nodes. They're structured sort of like a tree structure, where you have the main node, and then it's like the trunk, and then you have branch nodes, and within those branch nodes, you have leaf nodes. So on Oscar, the root node would be, I probably have it externally. Dashboard view is, okay, so dashboard view is still an node. If I go to, I think app GUI, yeah. So app GUI extends application. So this is where we're able to define the scene that we are using. So you can see, so this scene is currently holding everything that's in the application. So I'm not creating any additional scene. And within that scene, you have the stage. You add the scene to the stage. So stage here would refer to something that's closer to the system window API. So it's closer to this. So you add this scene to that. It's closer to the system window. In fact, here you can see here that's a stage. So think of it as taking your JavaFX UI and adding it to the native window that's provided by the operating system. And then, of course, on that scene is where I'll be adding the individual items, the individual panes, like the V box, the H box. That's where they'll be going. And then you can determine like the minimum width and height. So that's the dimensions of your default display. You can go full screen on launch, or you can decide to not go full screen. But that doesn't mean you cannot have a full screen. Because if I expand it, I'll still be able to get a full screen display. Yeah, and here you can have some events that run concurrently or async after the window is displayed, so that you don't block the UI. So yeah, I was using it to do some initialization work. So there's this app init function that does initialization, and inside the app init, you notice I'm setting up some few things. So finding the bin directory, because we cannot write the final binary by default for a Java application is a jar file, but a jar file is a read-only package manager. So it's like a zip file, but you can only read from that zip file. You cannot write back. So you need some other external directory where you put the application files. So that is the bin directory. So I'm setting that up every time you launch the application. And I think that's the main thing I'm doing. Init schema, what does this do? Oh yeah, I'm using SQLite for this. So SQLite is a file-based database. I'm sure you guys are familiar with. So here I'm just creating the schema, which has one table, products. Everything else is stored in your destination project directory. So if you are using this to manage an iOS project, everything will be stored inside the source directory for that iOS project. If you're using this for an Android project, everything will be stored inside the source directory for that Android project. So I don't have like a database of the application will not keep a database of the features that you have and the verifications. All that will be part of your source directory. It will be part of your code. But you can decide to have it in a different directory. So there's a picker. So if you're registering a product, like let's say if I'm registering Oscar, and I say this is targeting macOS, I can select a directory. So this allows me to pick any directory. For now I'm picking that, and once you pick the directory, that becomes every product has a directory. So I'm just having this in SQLite so that I can keep track of the products that have been registered and in which directory they've been registered. Yeah. I think apart from init schema, I'm probably not doing anything extra in initialization. Yeah, I'm just setting up the schema for SQLite and finding a directory where I can actually write that SQLite file, and where I can write any other file if I need during the lifetime of the application. Yeah, so as you guys can see in the documentation, there's no mention of a toolbar. So I could Google it and see how it's perhaps done, but I usually like getting my things from the documentation. But it's kind of sad. Let me try a search how to use toolbar. Okay, so there's actually a toolbar API. So a toolbar is a control which displays items horizontally or vertically. The most common item to place within a toolbar are buttons, toggle buttons, and separators, but you are not restricted to just these. If there are too many items to fit in the toolbar, I'll need to disable video a bit. The thing I'm using for it is having some. Okay, but my audio should still work. So a toolbar is a control which displays items horizontally or vertically. If there are too many items to fit in the toolbar, an overflow button will appear. So I think that refers to something like this. So yeah, you can get like a drop down. Toolbar, then you can have, so this would be the main items. I just this went into how to do the nesting. You can have separator. Okay. So this describes what this is, but it doesn't go into how to add it to a scene. So perhaps that's for us to figure out. So let me see. A scene.set toolbar. Scene toolbar. Add toolbar. Add event handler. Because I would assume the place this would go to is either a stage or a scene. It would not make sense if this went into like an individual node, because with those nodes you're able to remove them or add them during the lifetime of the scene. So, and since this is something that always lives at the top of your window, it should be going into the scene or the stage. But let me see. Let me see if there's any more documentation on this. Yeah, I mean, so I get it. It's really easy to use it, but where do I attach it? Okay. Or is it in the documentation? I just didn't notice it. Toolbar. Choice box. Okay, no, it's not there. So, okay, adding items to a toolbar. Okay. Where will the toolbar go? That's what I'm interested in. VBox. It goes into a pane. Damn, I was not expecting that. I think this is not the same toolbar I'm referring to. Because it seems this just goes into doing this. So it kind of does this automatically. Yeah, you're able to add it to the pane and then it will pop up here. So it doesn't do this. Because I want something that I can add to the system itself. Maybe I'm just using the wrong name to refer to it. Let me add some and see what happens. So I'll go into the dashboard menu, and in the dashboard menu, so we have that, and let's create a toolbar here. The dashboard view, and I'll add some buttons to it. Add button, perhaps file, and edit, and close. And then we can add the toolbar to, so we'll be adding it to, okay, so I don't want to add it to this. I could still add it to the split pen, but split pen has some behavior where if you add the item to try to use the split plane alignment. So split plane allows you to split the view. So like in IntelliJ, you'll see there's this divider here that splits the side menu from the editor. So that's what I'm using to split this side menu and the main content view here, if I can call it that. So this is the split pen, this one. And you can even move it. Yeah, you can move it around if you want. So I won't add it there. Instead, let me add it to the main menu. Let me add it to the welcome view. So okay, and then I can change what goes on here. And then let me run it and see. But I'm fairly certain this won't be achieving the desired effect, because what I want is something that attaches to the system menu, or the system toolbar. I hope I'm not using the wrong word. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. That's why I can't find the API. But I want something that can go here. The way IntelliJ has code, it has build, run. So you can have some of the actions that you can perform within Oscar being available on the system menu when that window is visible. Oh, I'm surprised this is still here. It's because I didn't close this other one. Okay. Yeah, so this is what it does. The UI looks nicer than what I have here, but the advantage, actually, if it can be persistent like the ones I have, I think it can be a nice add, but I'm still hoping that I can get something that would appear on the system menu. But this looks nice. This looks nice. If it was here, I think it would be fairly interesting. So this would be new feature, new product, and home, or something else. And maybe if later on I'm able to replace them with icons, it would look even much nicer. Okay, so I'll just return this to how it was. Let me get this back to how I found it. Okay. Okay, so that's how it was. And Let me find where these are and see if we can replace them with the toolbar so they get that nice default UI. So if I'm in welcome view, so welcome view has the ASCII art, this, and of course nothing else after that. So maybe I need to do this on the parent of welcome view, and the parent is this dashboard view, which is a split pane that has the main menu view on the left side and welcome view on the right. So main menu, then welcome on this side, and so these menu items actually live outside the split pane. You can see the split pane ends somewhere here. So if I go to, okay, so that has the dashboard view. Okay, main app window. Okay, so the dashboard view is the split pane, and main app window will host the dashboard view, I think. So it has the toolbar, a separator, and then the dashboard view. Yeah, so it is the parent to the dashboard view. So if we were to get that toolbar, we'll probably replace it with this toolbar. Yeah. Currently it's a border pane, and so we have the add verification buttons, the home buttons, and also some of them are dynamic. They rely on events. So I'm using event bus to send events back and forth from different screens. That's why you have this subscribe annotation. So this is from event bus. For instance, this listens for toggle show verification button event. So some other part of the screen or some other part of the application can request that we hide the show verification button, this button. I think this hides the new verification button. Add verification, reset verification. So it will remove any verification button. So now if I'm to have these buttons in a toolbar, I won't need to change much of, I won't need to change the buttons themselves. I'll just need to take all the buttons and have the toolbar as their parent container. Currently I'm seeing that I have them in in this rightmost container, which is a Hbox. I think I'm calling it rightmost because it's on this end of the UI. Perhaps I can get rid of, I can change this rightmost container into a toolbar. It's a toolbar. And of course, this would be, instead of get children, it will be get items. And I'm hoping I'm able to remove items. Okay, yeah. So get items remove, so that will remove the two verification buttons if some other part of the application requests that they are removed. And then they can be added later on if we decide to add them back. So structurally, I'm not changing much. I'm mostly changing the presentation of that toolbar so that it looks more like a toolbar, so that it looks more like this. Let me try running it. Okay, so we have video back. Just okay. So let's see what that gives us. Okay, I have two terminal tabs open. Into a bit of confusion here. Let me close this other one so that we are left with one. Okay, so we have the three buttons now, but they don't seem to. Some of the text is truncated for whatever reason. Let's see. I still want to have them because it's kind of nice to have them at the top of the screen here. But having them with the text truncated, of course, it's less than ideal. So maybe changing them into icons might be the solution. Instead of having text, I use icons for them. And perhaps that would save me the space. But I'm still wondering why they're truncated, considering there's so much additional space that's available here. So the main container is a border pane. So a border pane allows you to arrange items either to the extreme end or extreme right or extreme left. So if I go back to docs here, border pane, title pane, grid pane. Am I not seeing border pane here? So like I said, this documentation is derived from open source work. So since it's not official documentation, there's plenty of stuff that's not available, or at least most of it is poorly documented. But I'm not complaining if I wanted it fixed. It's an open source project. I can decide to go and contribute. So in a way, I'm still part of the problem. Because if the documentation is so bad, I should probably also be contributing some of my time to improve it if I really wanted it improved. So I can't find border pane. And weirdly, I kind of sort of remember reading about it there, on the same doc. But let's just see what I'm describing. So set right. So you can see this, the parent is border pane. and border pane from the docs. So a border pane lays out children in top, left, right, bottom, or center positions. So it's like a grid. But I don't know if that's what the documentation is calling grid pen. I think grid pen is a bit different. With grid pen, you can change the width of cells. So like if you have this sort of UI, you can have some of the views like this drop down button. You can have it smaller, and you can have the view next to it. Some I think this is negative space. You can have some negative space next to it, and this is the text field. You can see the text field is occupying the total available width, and also you can adjust the height. With the border pane, you cannot do that adjustment, so it's absolute positioning. But still, I was expecting that this is plenty of space. Should be able to take some of this and just stretch the view. And vgrow and hgrow would not appear here, which is what you'd use with the vbox and hbox. You can set vgrow to allow the items to grow horizontally, or hgrow to allow the items to grow vertically, but we are not doing that here. So and I don't think border pane supports that anyway. Maybe I'm just missing it. Let me try searching border pane. Okay, absolute positioning. Containers like vbox or Wharton align and distribute their children. And anything more? That's it. Adding items, unlike containers like border pane or hbox, nodes need to specify their position within the grid. Okay, so there's a few mentions here and there of border pane, but there's no dedicated section for it. So that makes things a bit difficult. But no worries. So I'll just change them into icons instead of constantly worrying about it. So let me see what I have here. So we have a new verification, a new feature, a new product, reset, and home. So let me see if I can find icons that match that. So if you're just joining, let me know which Java version you're using for your development. And if you are still stuck in Java 8, let us know. And if you need help migrating, you can ask. So I need a new product icon. So probably need some variants of plus icons. I think I like this. I think I'll use because later on what I want to do is support multiple themes, have a light and dark theme support. So I can have a white one, and then when I need to do a light theme support, I could try and get a dark variant, but essentially I just want one color, which is white for this case, and then I'll probably get a black one as well. So I can get black for light theme. So on the live stream, I was talking about the challenge with using icons when working with JavaFX, because if you're working with other UI frameworks, this process issue is usually really well simplified. So if you are working with on an iOS project, you'd use SF symbols here. So you have inbuilt icons. You don't need to go downloading icons for you basic UI work. But with JavaFX, support is limited, so you have to download your icons and add them to the project, which might seem a bit more cumbersome and feel like extra work. But I think there could be some open source project there that handles that, that probably I don't know about, that I definitely don't know about because I'm doing this. So add product duck, and we have add product. So I'll just add the two icons to our resource folder. So that's our dark icon and that is our light icon, and let me get that in first and then I'll add the icons. So with buttons you can have text and icons as well, but in this case I'll be getting rid of the text. Let me do that for new product, and instead we'll just have an icon, var icon is equals to new image view, and I think with the product you can now set graphic and pass in the image view. And product icon. So what we need to do is add an image here. So that's the slightly more complicated part of this. We'll need to go to UI Commons and call this utility function that I wrote. So this function just goes into the resource directory with the get resource as stream, uses the file name and gives you back an input stream. And now you can pass back that input stream as the, so yeah, so you can pass that input stream into an, the constructor of the JavaFX image, and you can pass that back, pass back that image. So internally JavaFX will handle reading from that image file and converting that into a displayable image. So you can use this image and pass it to the button, or pass it to a label, whatever you want to use the image on. So the image file we'll be using here is add product duck.png, and yeah, so I'll check if that is successful by using this result.isSuccess. And if that process is successful, we should have the image. So if this seems long, it's because I've increased the font of the ID. This line usually indicates how far you should type. You should not have lines extending beyond this invisible line to make the code readable. But because I've increased the font so much that it's more visible to whoever is watching, I end up reducing the amount of screen space that's available to me. So sort of sacrificing screen space to the viewer. So anyway, this should give us the image, and then we can pass that image to our image view. Okay, what's the problem? Okay, so the image view that I'm importing is from Java Swing, but I want the JavaFX one. So this is from JavaFX. Okay, so if things go wrong and this doesn't work, I'd still want to show something. So instead of that, just set text to new product. So just in case you're not able to load the image, you'll have the new product and text displayed on the button as a fallback mechanism. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so we have it here, but it's absurdly huge. You might need to reduce, and also I think I'm using the wrong icon. I should be using the white one. Let's see if we can fix that. So starting with the size, I think we can change the size on the image itself, set fit. Okay. Add product icon. Set fit width. Let me use something smaller like 11. And same size. Set fit height. So this would be the width and the height of the icon. And also my naming is wrong because this should be the light themed icon. I should work for collecting suggested names. So this should work for light, and the other one should work for dark. So this would be the dark themed one. I don't know why IntelliJ is doing that. Add, okay, yeah, dark. And then just go ahead and change this to dark because we're in dark theme. So we've changed the size, we've use the correct icon. Let's see if we get the desired effect. I'm actually already seeing it here. Yeah, so seems to work. So if we're able to change all of them to use icons, maybe I'll increase the size a little bit. But if we're able to change all of them, I think we'll have a very nice toolbar there. So instead of 11, maybe 15 would be better. Even numbers. I prefer even numbers. 16. Okay, then let's change the new feature button. Because we're using icons, it might become convoluted to try and understand what the button does. So if somebody doesn't understand the icon, it might help to have some accompanying text. And what I'm thinking is when you hover over the icon itself, it should we should get that pop-up that usually appears next to the cursor, telling you what that button does, so that if you don't understand the icon, you can get a chance to understand what the button actually does. So here you can use mouse events. So on mouse entered, so if mouse enters the region where the icon is, or if the mouse is directly on top of the icon, then we can do some interesting things there. Entered, so there's dragged over, released. I think I'll use entered for this. And we can use a lambda. And if a mouse has entered, I'd want to display something. How do we do this? Should we do a pop-up? So the button itself cannot act as a container. So how do we do a simple pop-up? Yeah, this is actually, I don't know if JavaFX has support for pop-up menus. Yeah, okay, there seem to be support for a pop-up menu. So hint menu, new pop-up menu. Set label, and this is add new product, or we can make it longer. Click add new product, hint menu. So in terms of positioning, I don't know if you can do absolute positioning, or we need to have it inside another container, because what I'm hoping is when you hover over the button, we'd have the pop-up appear somewhere in the vicinity of this button, without having it interact with the other containers, so that it's just limited to the button itself. And also it doesn't appear, it doesn't hide the button, so that I think you guys get what I mean. So like somewhere below the cursor, or the mouse icon. If it can appear there, I think it would be nice. But I know nothing about positioning for this pop-up menu. Let me see if I can find that out, because I'm absolutely sure that's also not documented. Pop-up menus, nothing on pop-up menu. Oh, okay, seems to be something. Pop-up. Okay, 2 mentions of pop-up. First one is a pop-up dialog when the error message. Okay, so this is referring to alert. We don't want alert, we just want a tiny pop-up thing that shows up when you go to that area. Pop-up menu will be properly formatted. Okay, so the documentation doesn't mention anything about the pop-up menu, so that means I'll have to look for it elsewhere. JavaFX pop-up. Okay, there's support for context menus. A pop-up control containing that the item allows for any menu item to be inserted, including its subclass menu. Okay, that's not what I'm going for here. Okay, this is still discussing context menus. Is this even a JavaFX view? Let me make sure. Yeah, this is a WT. So looks like JavaFX might not have support for pop-up menus at all. Pop-up. Okay, there's this pop-up. Pop-up window. There's a special window like container for a scene graph. It is typically used for tooltip. Yeah, that's what I want to do, like notification, drop-down boxes, yada. The pop-up has no decoration, essentially acts as a specialized scene or window. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going for. So how do we position it? Oh yeah, there's anchor. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. So you can anchor it with absolute dimensions like X, Y. It would be nice if you could anchor it to an existing node, perhaps say below the add action, add product button, or below this particular view. I think that would have been nice. But this is good. And also there's this set showing function. So it means you can control when it's being shown. Showing. Okay. Okay, there you can register an owner. The owner must be a window, which means we'll need to pass stage into this view for us to use it. Yeah. Okay, let's see if that could solve our problem. The other thing is, can we pass text to it? Hint menu dot set content. Get content. So the content is an observable list. Okay, you can have a node, and maybe in the node we can have the label, and the label can have this text. Okay, and perhaps we can define the position, set anchor X. I know the width is around, let me get the exact width of this view. So the width is around 1200, height 900 by default. So maybe I can use take advantage of that and say perhaps on X this would be in 800, and anchor Y, this should be somewhere at the top because it will be here. Since we have 900, maybe I can push it to 100. And then we can call show, and I'm guessing stage will work with this. So if we pass in stage, I think that should be okay. Let me make sure. So we have a private final stage, and that is the window. Before I do all the work of making sure we pass down the current stage from the launch of the application all the way to when the app toolbar is displayed, let me make sure that it will actually solve the problem. Or at least it will be accepted as an argument. Window, yep. A variable window might not have been initialized. Okay, it can be initialized. It is initialized, so okay, so that passes as a window. So a window is a top level window within which a scene is hosted. So I think that refers to what we were seeing on the documentation when it comes to the scene graph. This so this is the window here. So we pass that window to the pop-up, and then the pop-up can use the window to position the element. It's basically position the tooltip. Like in our case, we're just trying to show a simple tooltip, so it should be able to use that. Okay. Yeah, stage. So I've just passed that in there, which means we can probably already try and see if this works. Let me try and compile it first. Okay, we're good. Okay, so when we hover, nothing happens. Okay. Let me see what we got wrong. Set on mouse drag entered. So I want to see whether this is executed. I can't use breakpoints because building a jar file and launching the application from that jar file. So when I attach breakpoints, they will be useless because IntelliJ depends on. I think IntelliJ won't be able to hook these breakpoints on the final application. We're not using IntelliJ to launch the JavaFX application. So, but if we could use breakpoints here, they would be super useful for debugging purposes. But they just don't apply in this case, unfortunately. So it's actually, I think, let me just use logging to, first of all, figure out whether this mouse listener is working. Also, I'm adding this to the wrong button. Yeah, I was using the wrong button all along. This should be not add product. This should be the add product button. And the listener should be on the add product button. Mouse over on add product button. Yeah. So I'm saying I've shot way past the time I had scheduled for this. So I think this will be the last thing I check out, and then I'll resume with the rest of these probably tomorrow on another stream. But it has been productive. At least I got 2 issues done, and yeah, that's generally good. What happened? What did I do? So the goal is to do this incrementally. I won't do the whole system in any one stream. So I'll just be doing this on like, if possible, daily basis. And perhaps after a while, after a few streams, we should have some significant enough enhancements on the product for me to announce another release. And probably by then I've figured out distribution so that it makes more sense, because once it's available, I can package it and send it to people to try out. Yeah, let me see if I'm able to get any of that. Okay, so the mouse drag entered doesn't seem to be working. The mouse listener doesn't seem to be working. Let me see if I can use a variant. Okay, mouse entered, and I don't care about the event. And for now, I'll just log this, or maybe I can take a more optimistic approach and just do the whole thing. And it's not good to have both of them, because if it suddenly starts to work, I won't know where the events came from. later. So instead of so there's mouse entered, mouse drag entered, and there's on mouse entered. So I think that difference might have been significant enough to affect the results. Oh yeah, nice, Eureka. So when we hover, yeah, we get that log. So although we are still not getting the pop-up, but at least we're getting that. Let me see what happens when we do this from a different part of the view. But I don't expect it will affect the results. Let's just see. Okay. Okay, so we have the mouse event working, but now when we call show on the pop-up, we are not getting the pop-up being shown. So what gives validate owner show? Okay, so what does this do? Show the pop-up. Yeah, the owner of the pop-up, this must not be null. We are not, it's not null. I don't think it's null. Yeah, in fact, it will throw an NPE if owner is null. Illegal argument exception if the specified owner window would create cycle in the window hierarchy. So if it lead to nesting, we'd get that. So this should show the pop-up. So what okay, maybe we can use a variant of it. It's not showing the pop-up anywhere. Let's try and use this variant. So show, then we pass in the node. The node is add product button, and anchor X, let's say anchor X is 300, and anchor Y is maybe 300 as well. I'm thinking anchor is the absolute position on the window where you want to display. So the X position of the pop-up anchor in screen coordinates, and the Y position of the pop-up anchor there in screen coordinates. I don't know if you can get the position of the parent of the view. Get X, scale X, translate layout X. What does this do? No documentation. Okay. So layout X is defines the X coordinate of the translation that is needed to add this node transform for the purpose of layout. The value should be computed. Let me try using the absolute X and Y first, see what happens. Could it be the content? JavaFX pop-up. Let me see if there's any sample use case. JavaFX pop-up is to use a pop-up in Java, you should instantiate the pop-up class and UI. Okay, and then okay, yeah, pop-up. We are passing the right content. Set auto hide true. Pop-up.show. Yeah, primary stage. We did everything correctly, so I'm wondering why we didn't get the pop-up. Come on. Okay, let me get rid of this. Maybe it wants to use its own positioning and pass in the window. So if mouse is entered, then we create the pop-up and then we show it. So outside of this scope, the pop-up should be gone. So we might not need to manually hide it, but at least oh yeah, there we go. Click to add new product. So it's a matter of, so yeah, here's the product, the pop-up that we want. Just being shown in the wrong place. And also we might need to have it as a global variable so that we are able to hide it. I'm seeing it's not hidden by default. Oh, wait, I still need that. Yeah. Let me make it global so that I'm able to hide it. Private pop-up. Okay, to avoid NPs, a null pointer, let me just initialize it by default. Although I'd much rather not. Let me do it here. I think it's safer than doing that here. And so when the mouse enters the region where the add product button is, we'll show it. We no longer need this. We might need it for something else. Set on mouse exited. So if it exits that area, then we'll hide the pop-up. Is there hide? Oh yeah, it's hide. And also this lambda can be simpler. Okay, so this should help us hide it, and this will help us show it. So this is the thing with programming. Before you start, you cannot imagine that you'll spend a lot of time on some concept, but once the fun begins, time just flies. So this would be the last thing I do, hopefully, and then yeah. Okay, so we can show it, and then when we leave, we're able to hide it. This is nice. I just want it. I want that tooltip to appear closer to that button. I wonder what I'll need to do to do that. Click to add new product. Okay, maybe we can explore that on the next session of working on this, and also I'll be changing the rest of the buttons into icons. Yeah, so you guys can look forward to that. Otherwise, yeah, this has been fun, and I'll see you guys on the next one. If you want to check out the project, it's available on this GitHub repository. And you guys, if you want to like open an issue or you want to contribute to the project, feel free. There's always a few people that have contributed to the project, so you'll just be one among them to help build this next evolution of software quality assurance. Okay, let me end it there. See you guys tomorrow. Lord willing. Have a nice one.